Hello everybody. We have an Italian style switchblade knife kit here. I purchased this one from Roadside Imports. Always had an interest, fascination probably with these kind of knives since I was a kid, and I wanted to build one. So I have built two of these so far from kits. One of them came from this exact same kit, and one came from a kit that was just a little bit different. So I have made one from this kit. This is what you get with the kit. It comes in one of these right here, and here are all your parts. And in case you're wondering how one of these actually works, if you're not familiar with them, I have my Frank B, what I call the naked knife here. I took the handle scales off of this so you could just kind of see what's underneath. And for this, what we have is we have a front liner, which is this part right here, which has the push button installed on it already. Back liner, as you can see on the back here. You've got some bolsters. These are the top ones. These are just going right up here. One of them swivels to release the blade. Bottom bolsters, those are just right down here at the bottom, two of them. There's a back spring right here. That's what holds the blade in place right here. This notch on the back of the blade just goes through the hole on that back spring, is held in place, and then when you push on the bolster, it swivels, pries that spring back, and releases the blade. You've got an inside spring here. This is what flings the blade out. So when you close this blade, it's the little hole in the blade right here is going to fit right into this hook and stay in place inside the knife. So as I close this, it's going to click, and that is going to snap right into place. So now all I need to do is push the button. It's going to release that spring, and it's going to click right into place and be held right there. So I have built one other of these from this exact same kit. This kit does not come with a safety. I did have a safety from this knife, and I did purchase one that's a little sturdier, also from Roadside Imports, that I'm going to be putting into this kit. So I built one other knife from this kit, and I'm going to show you that one right now. That one looks like this. So what I did was make some changes with the standard kit and did some add-ons. One of those things would be the button. I had some beads that I liked that I came across, and I thought that would make a good button on there, so I went ahead and used that. The button sticks up a little too high. I'm not super psyched about that. And I made my scales from olive wood. I bought those scales from a company called Bell Forest, which has a lot of great woods, knife scale woods specifically. Very inexpensive. I think it was $7 for a couple pieces about that size of the olive wood. And then I made my own bolsters at the bottom using an epoxy resin, and just poured that and had another set of beads that look like this, and I put one right inside of there, and then I also attached one just to the top bolster. First I tried to solder it, and it went horribly wrong, and so the next time around I just use epoxy and I attach those. Also on this one, I'm going to go for a closer look. That's better. So I did some scale work on this one, which is just basically taking the Dremel tool, and on the back of the blade I just notched it out along there. I did the same thing with the back spring. So I just put that in the vise and did a pattern with my Dremel tool, which I'll show you how to do later. And also took the liners and with a hand file just put notches all the way around just to make a pattern. I've seen these on some Italian switchblades, and I thought it looked cool, so I figured I'd give it a try, and I think it came out okay. So that's the first one from this kit that I've made. Looks like this. Works real well. Nice strong spring in there. So this will be the second one that I make, and I'm going to take you through it. So the first thing to know about this kit is that none of these rivets really fit through anything to start with. So you will need to drill out the liners and the bolsters. The spring is usually pretty good. You might have to open it up just a little bit, but it's pretty good. The other thing that needs to get fit is this blade. Where it fits into the back spring, I found that so far it's never been exactly right. This is about as good as it's gotten so far with the last two. I don't have a lot of experience, very new to this, but that's what I found so far. So for this one, I find the blade is curving a little bit forward, and I really want to kind of move that back just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put get everything fit, and then come back and we'll just put this together as is without the scales, and I'll show you that that's really functioning as is, and then we just need to make the scales, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay. We're back. So now I've got everything fit together. All of the rivets are going through the holes like they're supposed to. I put it together, just the metal parts here, and fit everything, made sure everything fit, and so now I am ready to move on. So the next step is to make some handle scales. I have a piece of wood here. This is Honduran rosewood. I'm going to use this for my handle scales here, and you can see hopefully that I've taken one of took my back liner and I put it on there and I traced it. So what I'm going to do next is just cut that out, but very roughly. I don't want to get in too close. I want to leave room for error. So I'll cut that out, and then the next thing I want to do is get the right thickness for my scales. This is kind of important because this button mechanism here is a major factor. What we want to do is make sure that it's tall enough that we're up above where the space under the button is. And we want to make sure it's short enough that we don't have to push the button way into the scale to make it work. So I'm finding the magic number to be right around 8 30-seconds. That seems to be the spot. I'm going to put it at about 9 30-seconds, again, just room for error. So what I'll do then is take this to my sander, buzz that down, measure it just to make sure I'm getting the right thickness, buzz it down to about 9 30-seconds, and then I'm just going to hand sand it. I just put sandpaper on a flat hard surface and I just smooth it out like that, make it nice and level, and then from there I'm going to drill my holes. Do not do any shaping, I have found, until you drill the holes, because if some holes are off after you get this fit to the liner, it's just going to mess everything up and then you're starting over again, and I know this from experience. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what I come up with. Okay, I'm back, and I'm sorry I didn't show you the whole procedure here. I will in my next video. I want to get into more details in the next video, but for this one I just really want to show how this thing is put together. And so here are the handle scales that I came up with. I did it just like I explained. I decided for this one, instead of using bottom bolsters, I decided just to go ahead and put the wood all the way to the bottom. So this is just a different kind of look. So I'm not going to use these guys for this, but you certainly can. I just thought it would look pretty cool if we went all wood with this one. So these guys are going to fit on here. One of the things that's tougher about these is the front side handle scale, because you do need to route this out so that this whole push button mechanism can fit and operate underneath here. So you really have to get down pretty far. I use a Dremel tool, seems to work fine. For my push button hole, I drilled a smaller hole and then I just opened it up very slowly so that it would fit, and then I just made sure everything is working in there. So these guys are ready to go. I am going to put a safety on this, and I did make a mistake. I made this safety slot too big, so that the black, what you see in here is correcting a mistake. I'm going to get into that a little more in my next video. But for now, this thing is ready to go. So from here, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put my rivets in that are strictly holding the handle scales in place. They're not holding the knife together, just holding these on. So the front one has 2 rivets that hold it on. So you're just going to put those in like that, and then what I do is I make sure they're in there, and then I grind them down pretty close to the liner before I start to peen them. And the inside of this liner, it has been drilled out a little bit so that you can just peen it flush. That way the blade isn't going to run into it and the spring isn't going to run into it, because that's the inside where the blade folds into. So once those are all in place, that side will be ready to go. And then I'll do this side, and this side just has one rivet holding the scale on. The larger rivets which hold the knife together are going to be what really holds these on well. So it's just those. So once those are on, you're ready to assemble. So then we're going to just go ahead and put our top bolsters on. And so the curved one is going to go on the top, which you'll need to fit your scale to that to make sure that that works out. Putting the pivot through and just making sure that that turns, that will swing or move forward enough to pry that spring open. And then we're just going to put the spring in between and put it together. So a couple of things that I'm going to do differently on this one is that instead of my top bolster, I've made my own. I bought a bar of brass and I cut out a bolster. I traced one of these and I cut it out, and then I kind of customized it a little bit. This brass is 3/16 of an inch thick. I find it works real well. It's a 1/2 inch wide and then 12 inches long. And so I came up with this one, which I think is going to work out real well. And it's just kind of looking like some of the early Italian ones there. So that's going to go on there just like that. The other thing I'm going to do is, instead of my normal push button here, I'm going to take this and I'm going to grind this button down like I did on my last one so that there's just enough left there to support something new. And for that, I am going to use this bead right here for my push button. If I can get it up here to show you. And then this is going to be on just like that. And then of course this is my safety. In my next video I'm going to talk about how I'm putting that in there too. And then once I get those things done, I can assemble it and then I'll have a new knife. From here though, if you wanted to just do it the normal way using the kit, you can just put these together. You've got 3 rivets that are holding the knife together. 1, 2, 3. These are going to go all the way through. Going to go through the back of the spring. This rivet here is going to hold your inside spring in place, just like that. And then you're good to go. Okay, I just wanted to zoom in and give you a little closer look at some of these pieces here. This is the top bolster that I made. That's just brass, cut from bar brass and a whole lot of grinding. And then this is just the push button that I found that I think is going to just make a nice looking piece. And this is the safety, and the safety is just going to be right underneath the button here, and when it's forward, push it forward, button won't come down, back, releases. Okay, I stuck all my pins in, put this thing together. I'm not ready to peen the pins. I still need to make another bolster. I still need to customize and hot rod this a little bit, but I did want to put it together so you can see the magic, because that's what it's all about. So here we go. Hopefully I won't cut my fingers off doing it. And there you go, it works. And there you go. Tune in and we'll finish this thing up in the next video. Thanks for watching.